Alright, well, let's just do the podcast, bro.
Let's run it. Let's
yeah,
run it.
dude. So this is gonna be episode 6 of the gaming in a pot. Is it episode 6? Fuck, I can't even remember. I think it's episode 6. But today we're gonna be having Computer RL.
Computer RL.
on the podcast. So, Comp, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So,
Glad to be here.
quick talk. I mean, who is Comp?
Who is Comp?
Yeah, who are you? Like, what do you do?
I'm a competitive RL player. Been playing for around 6 years now, I would say.
Okay.
Back in 2015, I started in the beta. Played through a little bit of season 1 and preseason. Ended up taking a long ass break and coming back. I played like a couple games in season 2 or whatever, but then came back in season 3, like the end of season 3.
Okay.
And
This is
that's
like
when
the
I-
original season 3, right?
Yeah, original,
Yeah.
ranked season
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
And then, yeah, that's where I am now today. Been
Alright.
competing at a high level now for, I would say, 3 of those years. So that's been fun, just
Alright.
grinding.
So we're gonna queue up just some casual twos.
Sounds good. Clip on some people.
Yes, sir. So, how did you kind of get into like the professional play? Like, how did you break into that scene a little bit?
I've always been a competitive person, so being the best at everything that I can try to be my best at, I really get into and get addicted to. So it started before Rocket League, it was basketball, and also Black Ops 2. I would
Okay.
try heavily getting competitive into that.
The go
And then
game.
also CSGO. I guess CSGO was my first start to just competitive esports. So once that happened, I saw Rocket League, and I saw it was improving very quickly. I'm like, okay, I can take advantage of this.
Mhm.
And just how skill-based this game is just makes it even more fun. Because once you learn something, like, you actually have to put in the time to learn it.
Yep.
Instead of just learning it in an hour. So
Like
like it
spamming
takes,
controls or whatever. Like,
yeah, it takes like weeks to learn something here. And then that really like puts the set off from other esports, where some esports have some luck base where Rocket League doesn't really have any luck to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you got a couple luck on your lag, like your ping or something. from
Yeah,
the
maybe
server,
like
but
you might get a couple lucky bounces, but
yeah,
yeah, it's not very RNG.
yeah, no. And that's what makes it so competitive and so like upsettable. Like lower teams can take down top teams like
Yeah.
at any time. So it's just like a gamble on who's gonna win because of just the skill base and whoever shows up on the day, because there's so many different possible situations for one certain play.
Yep. I mean,
And
it's
then
it's kind of like
You go.
hockey in a way, just because you play so many, fast, high-paced matches. Like, really, any team could take a game off or take 2 games off of, a team that they really shouldn't be beating. So,
yeah, for sure. And then even like what? When you're playing against lower players, like a higher team, it gets kind of confusing because we're so used to like the higher level play.
yeah.
That like you won't expect a lot of things from like lower players, like certain misses and everything. Because you're always so in tune to like pre-read them because it's so fast paced.
I guess that is a lot different, because even, like, where I'm at, what, I don't even know what I'm at. I think I'm at Champ 3. I was Grand Champ for a little bit in 2s, but then I'll play with, like, someone that's, like, just Champ or Diamond, and it's just, like, I feel like I'm playing against someone who's really, really, really bad.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can't even imagine what it feels like to play with me right now when you're SSL.
No, it's not bad.
So, how many hours do you have in the game right now?
Currently around 8,000 or 8,500.
8,000. Holy shit, dude.
A lot of hours.
That is So how many hours a week do you put in this game?
Say around a week.
Yeah, like just in a 7-day week.
I would say around, it averages around 40 to 60, maybe 70.
That's crazy.
Depends on the week.
Good God.
Depends if I'm doing anything IRL or whatever. Or
Yeah.
scrims, tournaments.
So, speaking of stuff IRL, do you have any like hobbies outside of esports that you get into?
Again, just really basketball.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. I've dedicated so much time to this game. There's not too much outside that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basketball is one of them. I was really big into that, and then
Oh,
COVID hit, so that our league got canceled. So that kind of sucked.
yeah. COVID
And then-
kind of fucked up a lot of
yeah.
shit this past
I guess
year.
go karting too, and just going on drives. That's fun.
I haven't got to go karting in a minute.
They're so fun.
There's a track up near where I live in Atlanta that I think was made by the Andretti family, and a lot of people go to that. They say it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But,
I went go karting last weekend. It was fun.
So, do you remember the first esports team you were ever on?
Trying to remember. I mean,
And
I
like,
guess
are
the one
they
that
still
real-
around now or? Probably not.
Yeah, I guess the real first one that I joined was with Andy and Reliable Fries. So Andy right now plays for Charlotte Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess that was my first real team under Sway Esports. That's like when I actually like won my first tournament type deal.
Yeah.
And then it went on to like
And
all the
what
others,
what rank
teams.
were you like? What skill level were you guys at that point? Like, were you?
We were like, what would I say? I wouldn't say bubble or semi-pro. I would say like just getting into like learning the bubble scene.
Yeah,
type
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
So like a lot of the bubble players we'd be upsetting and stuff. So
Yeah.
we did really well with that. So I wouldn't say bubble yet, but like the introduction into bubble type deal.
Okay.
I guess when I first realized I actually had like a chance if I kept grinding.
And guess I'm trying to figure out what I want to ask. Oh my god, that's an unfortunate bounce. Oh, that's even a worse shot.
Wait,
My
my ones player? Wait, they're not even gonna shoot it. Oh, he did.
oh, I suck, dude. So I guess we've kind of talked a little bit behind the scenes about it, but like, what are some of your aspirations with Rocket League or just esports in general? Like, what's the end goal?
That trophy.
RLCS?
That trophy is my end goal. Or you know, enough to say I made it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
not only do I want to prove to myself that I can do it, it's also like all the people that don't think I can do it just
Mhm.
want to prove them wrong as well. Gives me that. Oh my god.
what a save!
Yeah, it fuels that fire in me
Yeah.
to try my hardest and make sure I'm able to get there.
So
Some motivation.
speaking of that, this last RLCS season, you actually made a split with Mamba mode. What was that? What was that like?
Oh, that was incredible. Like just the feeling of making it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first regional as well of the whole thing, so no one really knew what it meant. So I reacted very heavily to making it. a lot of screaming.
I know you keep posting the TikTok
Yeah,
clip,
we don't talk about that one.
farming impressions, dude.
No, but yeah, and the team we ended up beating in that qual was like a rank X team, so like almost a pro team,
Yeah.
pretty much. And yeah, I was just really hype. And making that regional really proves that I can make it in this game. I'm on the cusp
Yep.
of just trying to keep going.
It's just having
'Cause
the
all the
right
other
things
regionals-
happen
yeah.
at the right time.
All the other regionals, I got really close as well.
Mhm.
So even with different teams, so not only did I prove it with one team, I was able to prove it with other teams as well.
Dude, that heartbreaker, that one regional where you guys missed it
Oh,
just by
no.
one goal, dude. It was
Yeah,
against
we were
72
up-
PC.
Yeah, in game 4 we were up one goal with 4 seconds left, and they got scored 0 seconds on, and then lost in overtime. So he would have went to game 5 and probably qualled.
I mean, like I said, it's just like you said earlier. That's just how Rocket League is, man. There's just anything can happen. I think that's why Rocket League is so unique, because I mean, there's of course strats and other stuff, but it's not farming a certain mechanic or anything. Like it is whoever is the most complete team on any given day. It's kind of like in real life sports. It's just there's just something different about Rocket League.
For sure, and it keeps people on their toes.
Yeah, because I mean, you're even with a powerhouse of like NRG and NA, like there's probably not very many teams that could dethrone them, but just in the middle, there's so many different teams that could show up, and it makes the scene pretty interesting because there's not any dynasties except for
for sure.
Turbo, Pulsa, and Dignitas.
Yeah, back
a couple
in the day.
seasons. Yeah.
I don't think that'll ever be recreated with how quickly people are learning, and
Yeah.
with this new format of Season 10, it really brought the scene closer than it was at the beginning of Season 10.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of Season 10, you really saw no upsets. It was just
Yeah,
the obvious teams getting to the obvious place.
Yep. It was NRG or Envious or Space Station, and then it started getting a little more dicey. You had G2 upsetting a couple teams, which was surprising, and
yeah, none of that. You had
said
PK,
G2, yeah.
Xset, those teams. Then at the end of the season, you had like just a bunch of different teams just coming out, like Jamal Jabari, who's now Oxygen.
Yep.
Taking Energy to game 7 in the semifinals of a regional.
That
like you would
ridiculous.
never think that would happen in,
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season. So it's crazy how close this scene is coming. Just because it was so caged off for the pros for the other LCS seasons, because it's just one qualifier decided it all.
Yep, and that was it for at least 6-7 months.
And then only 2 teams could make it from out of RLRS to RLCS, but you had to beat the bottom 2 RLCS teams.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a given that they would promote. So no one, and then they wouldn't scrim anyone lower, so they would just all know their own play style.
Yeah.
And just grow off
Didn't
of that.
really. But now you gotta kind of adapt, because some of these other teams, like you said with Oxygen, they have nothing to lose. So it's like they're expected to lose that game. So of course they're gonna play super aggressive. They're gonna get all up in NRG's face, and
Yeah, for sure.
So it adds a different layer of I guess watchability to RLCS.
Yeah, because everyone at the end of the day, unless you're a super fan, wants the underdogs to win.
Yeah, and I think that's good for the esport, because it brings in kind of a lot of casual fans.
Yeah, for sure. Who doesn't really know what's going on with the teams,
yeah,
but they're like...
And I mention it a lot, but like when Parabellum competed in SI, like the amount of times like, you know, someone in my actual life would ask me like, what's going on, and I would just have to be like, yeah, dude, I honestly don't really know, like, because it was Rainbow Six, so
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much, like, there's strats and this person and this pick and this ban, and whereas Rocket League, like, you can explain it. Dude, you are carrying me hard right now.
Just in autopilot mode.
So one thing that you do that not too many professional players do is you play CRL. There's not very many that do it. So I guess first question would be, how did you get onto a CRL team, and do you talk a little bit about that?
Basically, I was gonna go to college right out of high school,
Mm-hmm.
but then just some grades and stuff screwed it over, so I decided to take a year break. And then Corona hit. That took another 2 years off of my school. So I ended up taking a 2-year break, and then I was like, okay, gotta go back to school, you know, focus on my long-term career. And so I decided, I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at Rocket League. Let me make some money while I'm going to school and see if I can get into school like for cheaper. So I decided to put out a tweet. I was like, any teams looking for a CRL player or Rocket League player?
Mm-hmm.
all that fun stuff. And then a program called Spin or Stay Plugged In ended up hitting me up and hooking me up with schools and different types of tryouts and tournaments that I could do to end up proving myself to schools. And yeah, so I did talk to some few schools. Wasn't really too interested. A lot of them were in the US, and I didn't want to have to be an international student just because I'm from Canada. So I decided to pick one of the best Canadian schools in Canada.
Yeah.
And they're huge for esports.
Oh yeah, they
And this season they want to make they want to be the best Canadian school and probably the best in the world for collegiate.
I mean, and some of the games that you guys have been playing have been pretty insane. Like the reverse sweep against Ohio State, I was freaking out watching that.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, like, I think it's crazy that schools aren't scouting people. I think that's one thing that people are missing is that, like, I just don't think people realize the potential that CRL and even at a high school level, like, I mean, I don't know if you saw my tweet the other day, but I was talking about, like, what are we doing on the high school level? Because
I think I saw it.
Because, I mean, just CRL in general, all these, one, you can get a partial, you know, scholarship for this. You can make, you know, money playing in tournaments. And I guess the only downside is you can't really pick your teammates.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know some people that were at a school where they were, you know, GC up and their two other teammates were Diamond just because, you know, they didn't have anybody else. So I think the recruiting needs to change. It needs to take on a more, I don't know how college sports are up there in Canada, but down here, like especially where I'm at in the Southeast, college recruiting is insane. And it's taken decades to get it, you know, down to a science. But I think they need to take a more actual sports approach, especially for games like Rocket League and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of talent, like that Daniel kid who's 14. Like, you get him in a high school setting and get a couple other players at either at a high school or get him in collegiate, and that kid will be a stud.
Yeah.
Because the good thing now is CRL is no longer like a Champ 2 league that they would meme about. Like, it's all. I mean, most of the schools that you're playing right now, they're at least GC 2, GC 3 and up. Yeah,
we're all SSL.
Damn, because you're D1, right? You're Division 1.
Yeah, we're D1.
So
right
all
now,
those teams
second.
So all those teams are SSL. So
yeah, they're all like SSL. Like, there's a lot of even just rank A teams, B plus teams in there. So like teams that could take on actual teams outside of CRL.
And one of those that I keep seeing is what do you think is like other than St. Clair's? What do you think is like one of the best schools in CRL right now?
Northwood.
Northwood.
Sure. Yeah. Hockey.
And is that a Canadian school or is that like North?
They're Michigan.
Michigan. That makes sense.
Hockey. Pirates and Buddy.
Gotcha.
They're really good, and then they just picked up Lion Blaze too. So I think the Pirates is gonna go down to their B team, and then
stacked fucking roster. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're really good.
No, I definitely think if one at a high school level, more schools kind of get behind it. There's definitely a lot of potential when it comes to funneling talent. Because especially for a game like Rocket League, dude, schools and sponsorships will hop all over collegiate and high school sports, just in general, let alone esports. And this game's got no violence, no blood. Like, it's all finished. Oh, damn. But I mean, I think it's perfect to pitch to sponsors like, hey, this is a high school team or this is a college team, and this is the game we play, and you know, we need money.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they're starting to get more into scouting out people.
Yeah.
Because this scene is so young, there's not a lot of players eligible for CRL yet, or a lot of people are looking at it as
Well, I think it just needs to be.
they realize they have to do school as well. And
Yeah,
not only
that's and
just playing.
oh jeez, I almost scored. Well, I think like what are you're going to school for? What is it?
Business marketing.
Business marketing. So you're planning on like. I mean, that's what collegiate sports is for. Like you get to do something you love that you're good at, but the end goal is you're getting a either partially free or a discounted education, or in some cases even a free education. Like that's the whole point. Oh my god, that guy just left. But yeah, I think it just needs to be built up from the ground level. Like, it needs to be built up from a high school, or even like there just needs to be a funnel into actual colleges. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think everyone's like, all schools are still learning it and everything. Especially
yeah, it's so new.
Probably after last season, more schools are becoming more involved. Kind of like St. Clair, like they weren't too involved into it until this year. That's when they actually started going out and scouting people. Michigan had a head start last year. That's when they decided.
Comp trash.
Pardon?
I said comp's trash.
No. Or these guys are just better than me.
So
have you seen these guys play? So good.
Talk a little bit about your farming of impressions you've done for, what is it, 137 days now? How did that whole thing start? It just, for people that don't know, give a little backstory on that.
Well, basically, I wanted, so we were trying out a coach and stuff, right? And we're doing a tournament, and I was like, I wanted to see if you could just spectate us, because it was way easier than we were lagging recording like a screen or something.
Yeah.
Or like the screen was horrible, and there's always a delay and everything. So I'm like, just why aren't coaches allowed to spectate? That was my question. Like, what's the problem with that at a higher level? So I can see at a lower level why that would be a problem, because okay, people would tell boost speed, boost amounts, and all that type of stuff. But at a higher level, the game is so fast paced that won't matter. We're already programmed to pretty much know when a team is out of boost, because we've been starving them for so long, or just by their movements you can tell that they have no boost. So at a higher level, that would not be a problem at all with coaches spectating, and because it'd be a waste of time for a coach to be in the call just saying boost amounts and talking mid-game.
Yeah, that
will screw up the whole thing. But I guess at a lower level that causes that problem.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about like higher tournaments and stuff like that. Like even just RLCS, like coaches are not allowed to spectate. They have to watch off like the live stream, which is there's a delay and everything.
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
Yeah, and then what happened when Typical in one of the series DC'd and Chrome didn't know until he saw it and then had to type to them.
Yeah, and what they're on like a 2-minute delay or so, or at least a minute, because
like a 30-second delay.
So,
and I know the problem arises with that is because they're on Unreal Engine. I don't know what it is. They're on a lower version. They're not on 5.
I think they're
because
on
of that, they're
4 or 3. I think it's 3.
Yeah, and because of that, they can't add more than 10 players to a lobby. And when it comes to spectators and all that, they need the like casters and production, which takes up 4 spots, and then there's 6 spots for the players. So a coach can't be added into there. So the problem is they've had this game running on this engine for so long that they should just switch to 5
and make Rocket League 2.
Yeah, not only with that would they make it so there's more player slots added, they can make the servers better, they can make the mechanics better, like more consistent, instead of like having lag touches and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They could also make it so custom stuff is allowed, so like custom training and all that, because that would be cool, being able to like train certain plays with your team and stuff.
Or like even having like Like I saw one thing on TikTok where a guy made a plugin where you can kind of like record your movement with like the ball and stuff, like practicing flicks, and it would help with defense where you can record like your path with a ball, and then you can save that, and then just practice, stopping flicks or certain shots and stuff. So it gives like real actual training. Because the defensive training packs are kind of worthless, and you can see that because a lot of these players that aren't at like a super high level, their offense is ridiculous, but when it comes to like one-on-one defense, like they're dog shit.
Yeah, for sure. And then back to like the tweets or whatever. I'm putting them out there. Okay, yeah. Not only does it grow my own Twitter, but it also shows. I know people from Psionic see it, but the more likes and stuff they get, it shows how much people want it, and the consistency on each tweet and how many likes it has. It just proves that the scene wants it more than anything. So, like, everyone's sick of getting all these car updates and everything. Like, we want like real updates to the game.
Yeah, well, I mean,
to improve the game.
The Aston Martin, this car that's on the wall right here now is pretty cool, but I mean, why can't we have more Psionic sponsored tournaments in the off season, or like
sure. Bigger prize pools.
Yeah.
Like using their Rocket Pass or something to add to the prize pool, kind of like Siege does. Like Siege has this $3 million cap from using, like they use 30% of their
alpha packs
sales.
And stuff. Yep.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
I think they just announced a new car today that's coming out, which is kind of annoying, but
well, it's just like everyone's kind of set in their ways when it comes to cars. Like, yeah, people still get, the new cars and stuff because it's, it's fun to have. But, I mean, everyone uses only 3 to 4 different cars. That's it. Like, that's all people do. So, it's like a new car is not going to change anything. A new map would be cool as shit.
Yeah, they're looking heavily towards the lower community.
Yeah.
But when all these lower community is sticking around because of the scene, because of the tournaments, all that fun stuff.
Well, because all the players that are below where you guys at or where you guys are at want to be where you're at, and then all the players that will most likely never get there, they want to watch the best people compete.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of like soccer fans, right? Like,
exactly. You want to watch the best of the best, but there's no way that they can, I guess, keep that around, because once RLCS is not happening, there's nothing going on. That's my bad.
No, you're good.
I think that's what's been, and it's companies like Tactical, Banditry, and Nerd Street and stuff they're just a couple $100 weeklies, but they're giving people a reason to play in the off season. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like this. It's the weeklies that are keeping this scene alive right now, because a lot of people are getting annoyed with, like, even how the prize pool is. Like, we've been getting like near the same prize pool for a bit now. Like, it's growing a little bit each year, but it's like,
especially
think Epic Games picking it up. They have a lot of money, and nothing is going towards.
I think Epic can make this game as big as they want it, just if they support it. Like, the game is being stunted by them not doing anything with it, because I mean, we had a whole year of no one being able to do anything other than watch stuff that Rocket League could have really kind of exploded, and it did for a little bit. It went free to play at the right time, but I mean, you could have done like, some big tournaments, and if they had done a LAN,
for a LAN,
if they would have done some big tournaments, where like the prize pool just for that tournament would have rivaled, at least like, almost 6-figure tournaments. They could have done something other than the grid. I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of stunting the game a little bit.
Yeah, and like the whole LAN thing, like LANs are canceled till 2022, when almost every other esport is doing a LAN.
Yeah.
Like R6 did a how many people land? Like how
It
many?
was
How many
it was
teams?
20 teams, and you got to think 20 teams of
Times
5.
six.
That's over 100 people.
Because they were allowed bringing a coach or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, times 20 times 6, all those people go into a LAN. But Rocket League couldn't even bring like top 4 teams from each region to a thing.
Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. There was ways to get around that, and I don't even get the international part because Rainbow Six had some, Brazilian,
Everywhere.
Brazilians, Japanese, like that was all over the place.
Valorant everywhere. Like
So, I feel like the game itself, the concept is there's no other game like Rocket League that if they just what a shot that if they just let the game do its thing and support it, like the game is gonna be a top esport just with the way that it. There's nothing else like Rocket League.
yeah, like they have a really good opportunity to blow this up, but it kind of already is kind of blown up, but even more. And because this game's so unique, they should not like lose that chance.
Yeah.
They should hop on it. It's like we haven't heard anything for how long
About RLCS?
about season, about any updates, nothing. We haven't heard anything. I think they put out a Reddit post like not that long ago talking about, oh, there's some new things coming, blah blah blah.
But it's
like
like what?
no details or anything. Like there's been nothing at all for months.
And for a
Like
game
not even
that's...
to the pros, like not even to the high tier players.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Call of Duty, like they kind of did right, is like their pro players were the first people to test new games, test new mechanics, because it I think they know the game better than anybody else. They play hours and hours and hours on end. So if something's not gonna work, they already know it. So
yeah. And another thing that keeps an esport alive is the more players that can make a living off of it, the longer it lasts.
And
that's
I think
like COD's still as strong as it is today.
Exactly.
Even since the Black Ops 2 days or whatever, a lot of people were able to make a living off of that game, like times 5 what Rocket League can right now.
Yeah, and even still, because Warzone and everything else, but even the people that aren't as good, the Rocket League creators, they can only do so much.
Yeah, they're keeping this alive too. Like they're with all the lore people right now, all the lore community. If they weren't around, this game would be gone.
But I don't know. I hope that something changes here within the future, because I mean, even though I don't play Rocket League as much, it's still probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. One of my favorite esports to watch. Like, have you ever gotten to go to an RLCS like to watch? No.
I've always been too like young and stuff. My parents would never let me.
Yeah.
But like if I have the opportunity now at this age.
Yeah.
And stuff. And there is no LANs or anything. So. And the thing is, I never thought to be able to play at LANs, but I'm now able to. Like.
Yeah.
I know at the level I am, I would qualify for some LANs.
Exactly.
Like, but because of COVID and everything, and no LANs being allowed, I haven't had the opportunity. I know there'll be lots of opportunities in the future, but it's just annoying.
Oh yeah, it feels like it's been a waste of a year. In a way.
Like, I can't complain too much because I am a year ago today. I really wasn't as big as I am now. Like I was like not even 1,000 followers on Twitter, nothing on TikTok, like 300 or something.
Yeah.
Twitch had like 200 followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've more than like quadrupled that to this day.
Oh yeah. I remember one day when we first were talking to you and Daru and Lemon, like your TikTok was at just over, I think, like it was a couple thousand, and I was at 13K. I'm still at 13K, and you just completely blew past me. Like,
yeah, I'm at like 18 point something now.
Jesus.
I haven't been posting too much.
I need to post more. I just don't have enough clips. I guess I'm gonna have to start like regurgitating some.
Yeah, the thing about the algorithm with TikTok is you could repost your old clips and no one would really know that you did.
Yeah.
Like, on my clip now, people are still saying congrats.
Like that happened almost a year ago.
Yeah. Literally a year ago in like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
People are
So
still treating it like it's a new clip.
when do you think that RLCS is going to be announced? It's got to be coming
Announced, I would say like end of this month, maybe September,
What a
early
flip we
September.
set.
But then I will think it starts. I think it'll start like in October.
soon. Yeah.
But the thing about this too is a lot of people don't try and get teams around that time. So not only is it harder to find players to try out with, it's also harder to find teams to scrim against.
Yeah, because they're all
'Cause a lot
still
of people are just-
finalizing their rosters.
Not even that. People are just not even caring until like it gets announced.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't like long-term teaming. That's the thing about this league scene, which is not a bad thing at all. It's if stuff's not working out for a while, then
Well, yeah,
in this scene, it's just better just to get a new team or replace someone.
but I think the bad thing is like knowing when, and because a lot of the players are so young, they don't know when it's just you have an off day or if
Yeah, or a dry
something's
streak.
broken. Yeah, because I mean there's some teams that you know they didn't have good showings, but like you could tell that they were going to be a good team. They just needed shit to work out right, and
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, long-term teaming is a rarity.
For sure.
And
It's only in the like higher.
and it's kind of like the immaturity level of most of the players because they'll have one bad tournament and they'll just completely implode their roster. And I'm like, you guys are a good team. Like, just why team for a week have one bad tourney? Like, you're not gonna be a good team in 1 week. Like, unless something
Yeah, for
happens
sure.
behind the scenes. Because I know there's been some times where like shit gets said during a game, and it's like, yeah, you can't be doing that.
Or
but-
yeah, like the toxicity
Yeah,
scene
yeah,
is
yeah.
big. Like there could be a good players, but a lot of these people won't like these good players because they just like are just so toxic to them and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. Just because the scene is so young.
Yeah, I think that's one thing just in general esports that needs to be trained is like how to carry yourself as a person. Because I think with esports becoming more and more, I guess, legitimate, can't have a bunch of kids running around shit talking each other all the time.
Yeah, and making executive decisions for
Exactly,
rosters and all
dude.
that.
Like
Like Kronovi got kicked off a roster
by
from,
like what
by
6
15-year-olds.
Yeah, dude. Like that's ridiculous. Like Kronovi's not to the level that he was, but you can't have someone making decisions like that. Like
Yeah, and if this game ever goes franchise, they will.
Yeah.
The org will be making the decisions.
there needs to be I think there because the whole industry is still so new. There's not training on how to handle PR shit and how to not be a douchebag and just there needs to be a level of like business mindset, and it's there in the higher orgs, but in these lower levels, dude, like
Yeah.
comp, some of the people that we've had to talk to get scrims, like I can't stand talking to them.
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
you can just tell the maturity's not there, the mindset isn't the same.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
no, I just screw that
And
up.
they're just like their egos.
Yeah,
are just huge
I've
just from
had
being a manager.
I've had teams that you guys have beat numerous times ego me for scrims. I'm like, you guys should not be doing that. Like,
And then we go and upset them again. And
Yeah.
It's like, how are you gonna learn to like beat us or whatever? Like you can think it's an off day or that we're still shit, but if it's a consistent amount, maybe if it's once, okay, whatever. Maybe they weren't expecting it, but a second or third time, like
yeah,
you could just something up at that point. That okay, I guess we're just the better team. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like live up to reality type deal. It's just so like
yeah.
the delusion is. There's a lot of delusion in the scene type deal.
So, kind of to bring it back to, CRL and for up and coming players, like what do you recommend for you know, either younger players or players that want to go to college? Like what is your advice to them to, either get on a team or just progress in general?
Uh, so we'll start with the progress. The good way to progress in this game is, stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't be delusional on thinking you're better than you actually are. Like, make sure you know what level you are, and obviously the confidence is good, but you don't want to be cocky or anything,
Yeah,
because that will throw you down in the long run.
and there's a
And
fine line between.
hard focus on the right
Mm-hmm.
things. You can put in a lot of hours, but it all depends on what type of hours you put in, because there's useful hours and unuseful hours. So you could just be trolling around the whole time and not actually learning anything. But if you're in there like focusing on one thing that you really want to get better at, say like consistency. Okay, if you're feeling down one day and like you think you're not playing good, keep playing through that, and you're able to build consistency, and then your off days will be, to other people, will be good days, and then your really good days will be peak days.
Yep.
And a big thing with that is then you can start proving to people. And not another way is 6 men's is a good way to prove yourself to other people if you haven't already, because it's hard to, you can take the long route and get a lower team and just like prove yourself there and with results and stuff, but that still takes a while. But 6 men's will be your fastest way to progress.
Yeah.
And then once you build off of that, then you can go into more of a CRL route and put out a tweet, or again contact Stay Plugged In. They're really good with finding teams for you and giving you tryouts, and then you're able to prove yourself to those coaches or whoever's hosting the tryout at the school.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to progress yourself into CRL. And again, CRL is a beast. It's a different beast. Like, the teams that have been playing together for years, they have the chemistry, and if you're not prepared for that and not going in ready, you can get easily upset by these teams.
Yep. Well, I mean,
Just
I think that's the different level of, most of those schools that are in CRL are 4-year schools. So like teams like, I know for a fact, like down in Georgia, Kennesaw State, those players have been there for at least 2 years.
Yeah, just like OSU, like those guys have been together for like 2-3 years, right? Like all these teams that have been together. Akron, like a big team that's been together for years. Like all these teams, like they can easily like just like
Jesus
out chemistry you.
Comp just casually hitting bangers.
It's like free play.
Good God, dude. But yeah, no, I fully agree. So this is technically your first year at school, so you still got, what is your a 2-year degree? 3-year degree. Or
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, with this, like our first year, we're already second in the East on standings currently.
You guys are doing fantastic.
It's not the end of the season yet. We still have 3 more matches left, but to where we are now as a whole new team, and the start of CRL, like this is a good start. We just gotta not get too over our heads and keep it going, keep the train rolling.
Oh my God, these guys are dog water.
Not get cocky.
wait, what did you say? Not get cocky. My bad.
Yeah, my bad.
That's my fault. It was a misinput.
Misinput.
Bro,
that clip is so funny. Oh, no way, that just goes in again.
So I guess I mean, you've had a pretty long time in Rocket League Esports. Other than you making ILCS, what's probably like your favorite moment you've ever had in the scene? Like could be a shot, could be literally anything. What was one of those moments that
I think making my first LAN, because it wasn't a LAN that it was open sign up for. Like you actually had to qualify for it. So even though it was only a Canadian LAN, the level I was at back then, I should not have qualified, and we ended up qualifying, and it was just so hype. So like it was like 3 years ago, I think. It was a World Gaming Canadian only LAN, and top 8 teams from like open quals, or no, so you had 4 open quals, and then top 16 would go into closed quals
Yeah.
from like leaderboard and points. And we barely made it through the last qual because we didn't play any of the other ones. So we barely made it in as like 16th seed, and then we ended up upsetting 3 different teams to end up qualifying into the top 8 LAN. And it was like, it was cool. Like the LAN was fully paid for. Stacks, Leafex, Corelli were all casting it and got to
I
meet them
love
all.
Leaf,
You know,
man.
meeting everyone. Like it was my first ever LAN, right? So it was a really good experience. We ended up placing last, but we played the best against the first seed team that ended up winning.
Yeah.
In there, so we had the best results against them. So that was also really cool. I think that was my favorite moment. Like just the hype of making it and everything, and just being younger and
Yeah.
just starting to get into the scene. It was really hype.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got to meet. I went to the RLCS season 4. That was when Turbo Pulsa won back to back.
Oh shit. Yeah.
I got to meet Wave Punk and a bunch of other people. Wave Punk is tall as shit, dude.
Yeah.
He's like I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". Dude.
Oh my god.
He's tall.
He's just massive.
But no, I think hopefully lands will come out soon. Like you said, not until 2022.
Yeah.
That used to feel like that's a long ways away, but with how this year is going, like that feels like it's right around the corner.
Yeah, for sure. Just because everything's been going by, like we're just so used to.
Like, you gotta think, like I can't believe it, but we kind of lost an entire year. It just feels like it was deleted.
Bro, it feels like a movie, bro.
Like it just
Feels
feels like
like we're in an actual movie. Everything locked down, like stores, like the whole world is just panicking. It's literally like a movie. Like this will turn into a movie one day.
I'm sure it will. Because I think the funny thing is like the difference in what people are saying from place to place. Because like up where you're at, up in Canada, like it got. I mean, it's still at a point where some places you can barely go outside half the time.
Yeah.
Whereas
like
here
I
in
live,
Georgia,
everything's open.
yeah, we're here in Georgia. It's kind of the same way. Like we kind of had COVID for 2 months, and then everything just went back to normal. Like
For us, it was like stuff started to open up a little bit. Then we got hit really hard. Stuff again started opening up a little bit. Then got hit hard again. They shut everything down. And then like a couple months ago, they decided to reopen everything. So yeah, I'm glad that we're able to like come back to normal a bit. Because like it's been way too long. And I've always loved just sitting in my room and stuff. But then realizing that like you don't have that freedom to go do whatever you want.
Exactly, yeah.
It gets to you.
God, I hated that. Where you're like, I don't ever really do anything outside of like work and shit, and then they close everything out, and that would be the day like you want to go get ice cream or you want to go watch a movie like at the theater. You're like, dude, we can't do that. That's so dumb.
Yeah. And then like, not only did COVID delayed a lot of industries, like they delayed the movie industry. Like no movies came out at all.
And the ones that did come out were absolute just garbage.
Yeah, like basketball got screwed over, everything like that.
Yeah.
Like now fans are allowed to come back and stuff, which is nice. So that was only for like playoffs, so like it took a while.
Yeah.
Like I remember when they said the NBA were canceling the season, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I remember that day. Like that was. I just went to ECHL game like a week before that. It's the East Coast Hockey League, so it's like double A teams for baseball. Like it's 2 levels below the NHL and shit. So
yeah.
But we had just watched, me and a buddy of mine he came down from Boston, and we just watched one of those games. And literally a week later, like the whole world shut down. What a shot! So it was kind of surreal because, just a week before everything was just normal. We went to, a hockey game, went and ate dinner, hung out.
Yeah.
We were all, out downtown somewhere, and then all of a sudden, like, you couldn't go anywhere. So.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like, the start of COVID, like, when everything, like, blew up.
Yeah.
sanitize everything, you know,
God,
fucking
dude, people were freaking out. Dude.
gotta sanitize all your groceries. Every time I thought I'd go outside the house, I thought I was gonna like die from COVID.
Dude.
Like every time I went outside the house, even if I was just outside in public, like just like where no one's around.
I'm not even that kind of like germaphobe. Like I don't really even like. I mean, oh, I just nailed you. I'm not really worried about ever getting sick because usually it's not really bad for people our age. But
yeah,
I was like turning into fucking Howie Mandel, just like wanting. Don't touch me, don't touch me. And
every time I went to the store, I would just come back and I would just like wipe down my chips or whatever.
and my job, like I had at the time, like they still wanted us because I mean you knew my job. I was apprehending shoplifters. They told us unless it's like a TV, don't touch them, and I was like, what? Like they're like unless they're running out with a whole cart full of shit, don't touch them. Just let them do whatever they want. And I was like, all right.
So people could just go shoplift.
Pretty much, because they didn't want them in the office, because we already dealt with nasty people anyway. So then to have COVID, like they didn't want people in the office. They didn't want us touching folks. They didn't want, people. They just didn't want us within 6 feet of them.
Yeah.
And then it started getting ridiculous because then they started making stupid rules like, you can have your mask off in the break room, but you can't have it on or off on the floor. And I'm like, what's the point of, taking it off in the break room? Everyone's sitting in an enclosed facility. No.
Yeah.
Hopefully the world gets back to normal soon. So.
Yeah, it's on a good pace. If people just realize what the vaccine's actually for.
Yeah.
It weakens the virus, so you can still get sick, obviously, and still carry it. But like it weakens it, it's like now like a flu type deal.
Yeah.
Like I've heard people with vaccine out are just like pretty much everyone's just getting you're just getting like it's basically just like a small flu.
Yeah.
But then those anti-vaxxers.
So to bring it back to Rocket League, what's an underrated region that you don't think gets enough respect other than NA and EU?
Middle East probably.
Oh, why is that?
Just because they've been upsetting teams like from EU and NA for a while now, or mainly EU. But like, I think Sam and OSD are still, because the lines have been a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're still like on a downhill.
Yeah.
Because like anytime like I play against a Sam team or something like that, it's just like they seem like just a normal rank B team type deal, maybe with a little bit more mechanics and stuff, but like they're just not as consistent and everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then like OCE just. I don't even know what happened to them. They were catching up, but then again, COVID just threw them down the
there was 3 or 4 teams that could upset someone at the bottom. Could at least like make top 8, and then all of a sudden it was just one. Like,
yeah,
that was it.
And now and I think Middle East they've just been grinding and they really want NA to come in. I mean NA what? They really want Middle East to be in RLCS.
Yeah, I think that's what needs to happen. I think it needs to get to the point where, I really love the Intel World Open, which, I mean, you guys played great in that, Josherton. That was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But I feel like there really needs to be a World Cup, style. I think that would be so fun to watch. Do it like Intel World Open style, but on a LAN for 3 weeks, just exactly like the World Cup. I think that would be so much fun.
For sure, that'd be sick. Yeah, and speaking of IWO, I'm proud of what we did. We ended up making top 4, almost beating out the team that got second in the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Like we were literally just 1 goal off in overtime. Like it hit post and it went 50% in, and then Squishy pre-jumped my shot. And then they end up winning 2 minutes after. But it was that was a really good experience, being able to almost represent. Never thought Olympics would ever be esports at all.
No, I feel like it needs to not necessarily be, me personally, I don't think esports needs to be an Olympic event, but I think they need to do that IWO again, because that was
Yeah.
amazing to watch. But they need to do it in a LAN setting. Like, of course, I get why they couldn't do it, but I don't know. There's so many variables off LAN that can sometimes like taint someone winning. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas like all that shit gets settled when you got 0 ping. Like it is literally just who is the better team.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, he doesn't get faked.
Wow. It's because he's in that Jurassic Park.
Oh my
Jeep.
god, I'm scared. I'm scared.
He's too
Oh wait,
cracked.
he actually did shoot. I didn't think he'd be able to pop it up. He's just better.
Oh my god, it's the Jeep, dude. It's that new car. Well, it's not new, but it's new to some of these free to play folks.
Yeah. Yeah, this game is a lot of potential. To just have to run away with it and do the right things.
Yep.
You know, maybe listen to the community a little bit.
I think that's the biggest thing, dude. Is like,
or communicate, at least that. If
Yeah.
they're not gonna listen to us, at least communicate.
exactly.
Like, we sit here and play this game more than they do.
I'm sure of it. So and especially like up where you're at, you got hundreds of players that play 50-60 hours a week and are at the highest level. And it's just like they know the game better than anybody, so let them get input. I think there needs to be just more emphasis on community tournaments and shit, and bringing in more sponsors. Like, I feel like the Ford and Lamborghini shit was pretty cool, but like
they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it was just Lamborghini. It was just the Lamborghini Open and the Ford Freestyle event.
Like, they're not even asking for prize pool. Like, okay, Lamborghini, hey, look at this concept.
Like, I remember
we'll promote you and put in give us some money to put towards a prize pool or something.
Yeah, dude. Like, I remember, I think it was like RLCS. It was one of the earlier seasons of RLCS where Mobile One completely paid for a mid-season tournament. It was like a 30K tournament or whatever, and it was presented by Mobile One. And I was like, dude, why do they not do that even more? Like, with how big the game is, like they could be getting money out of the ass. And I'm sure they are, but Epic it just feels like a cash grab. It's not helping the game at all.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why the Fortnite scene has died down a little bit. Like, what they did with the Fortnite scene, $100 million.
Yeah.
That blew that game up.
Yep.
That blew it up. And then they just slowed down.
Yep.
Because they realized how much money they could make. Because the $100 million of them, that was really, really nothing to what they were making.
Who knows, dude?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this
Only
is gonna
time
be
will tell.
this is gonna be the last game of the podcast. So I don't know if you've ever watched any of the episodes before, or know anything about the other episodes, but
I have not.
My favorite question to ask. You may have heard this or not, but what?
Should I be scared?
No. It definitely requires some thought a little bit though. It is
Okay.
What is the best piece of advice you ever got, and who did it come from?
Yeah. It's gonna have to be a big one here.
No, that's why I let people know 5 minutes before we end the podcast because I want to give you some time to think.
Yeah. There's been a lot of people who gave advice to me. A lot of people who've grown in the scene, to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have to say the biggest, man. Like, the biggest person that made me who I am today is Subin. So, Subin is the coach from E United.
Okay.
I don't think he is anymore, but one of the smartest guys I've ever met in this game. Basically,
I suck.
just biggest advice is, he said, he taught me game sense,
Mhm.
right? So he said game sense will make you far in this game at a high level,
Yep.
and mentality. And he's right about that. Game sense at a higher level is what separates people who focus on air dribbles and flip resets all day compared to people who actually like learn how to position themselves. Because you could be a super fast player, but that won't matter when someone can position better than you and still get up in
Yep.
the air. You know, so yeah, I think the best advice talking about like mentality and game sense was huge for me, and that really made me who the player I am today. Because I'm not the flashiest player ever. I can be flashy if I tried, but I'm always looking for the win. I'm not looking for the
Yeah.
highlight reel. If the highlight reel comes during that, like if I have the opportunity and it's just there, I'm like, okay, then it happens. But I'm not looking for it the whole game.
Wow.
So yeah.
I'm actual garbage. No, that's good. Mentality's huge in esports. That's
Yeah, that separates a lot of like
I mean,
that's why a lot of people can't get out of the bubble.
yep. Well, I think I mean, good case in points. Season 5 for LCS, like that is the most iconic goal of all time. I don't even have to explain what happened, and everyone knows what
Yeah.
you're talking about. And then for Turbo Pulsa and them to bounce back from that and end up winning, like that is big for mentality. Like that's a tough
Yeah.
goal to give up in the finals of RLCS.
Like you got bracket resetted and everything,
and then that happens. Like you're sweating a little bit, and for them to, granted they got a little lucky, misplay on NRG's part, but
yeah, and I think a lot of that
still
came
just the
from
mentality. Yeah,
because if you see in that thing, Turbo Pulse is like looking up in the air, and then K-Dop like pats his like
he's
chest.
like, yeah,
and
dude,
like,
you're good, you're good.
we're good.
Yep,
Like yeah, that's huge.
yep. Mentality's big. Jesus, comp.
It's going for 3 doubles this game.
Man's out here just like, yeah, I don't go for anything flashy. It's just
Okay, in important matches.
flip reset. Oh my god.
Hey, fake. Oh, oh. Yeah, okay. These guys are just better too. Just all these guys are.
Yeah.
Okay, now I gotta. Now I'm asking you a question.
Okay, ask me.
Okay. What got you into managing?
What got me into managing? I was too bad to be a player.
What's your favorite moment? Like, what's your favorite thing that makes you keep managing?
I just like being able to kind of get more of an insight into like how teams function, and plus it feels a little bit better. Like there's a different level of like appreciation. Oh, nice shot, dude. Like you can be a fan of a team, but it's different when like you have helped facilitate their success.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Getting scrims and shit, and all this stuff like that. It's a different level of like appreciation for, like working with you, watching, knowing that like in some way, shape, and form, like I have, you've helped me learn the business, and I've helped you, get scrims and get good practice time and stuff, and then to see you, go off to college, it just makes me proud.
There you go. And then like you're also there if there's any problems within a team. You're there with unbiased opinion. All right, so.
I tried to take that. Well, I think that comes from real life experience, because my whole job was dealing with people screaming at me and cussing me out. So to be able to make a smart decision when things get heated, even though there's never been shouting matches, within the team, it still is. If a problem arises, you'd be able to handle it. If you can deal with someone screaming at you and wanting to fight you, you can deal with 2 people arguing.
Yeah, especially online too.
Yeah.
No, you have to get physical.
No. So I think it's just I enjoy learning about the business, and you know, it's fun getting to see the teams. Like you get to talk to some of these teams that, or some of these other managers that, you know, are doing right, and you can kind of like watch them, study them, see what they're doing wrong, see what they're doing right, and
Yeah.
bring that into your own.
Know
Team.
what you should do, know what you should not do.
Yeah.
Learn from other people's mistakes.
Exactly.
I'm faking it. We're faking it.
Okay.
Oh my god. Why would he kick off like that? We gotta get to Brazil.
Okay.
And Brazil to end it.
Oh!
No!
Ah! Keep it up! Oh!
He saved it!
Oh no!
How did he save that? I thought I had that
That
for
was
sure.
such a good save, dude. Damn.
Oh my god.
Okay. What a way to end the podcast, huh?
Yeah.
That was
people destroying our Brazil.
That was fun. So,
yeah, for sure.
Well, Comp, before you go, I mean, is there any like socials you want to plug or anything like that? Just anything?
Comp RL on most socials, Twitter, comp_RL. You know, pretty straightforward. That's pretty much it.
Alrighty. Well, that was a blast. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, for sure. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you for being on.
Thanks for having me.